everybody, and welcome to our second cash flow game. We have a few more people who are registered, so I think they might be coming in, but it's just good to get started. What we'll do is we'll have 3 full tables of 6, so I'll hop in on one table, Trevor will hop in on the other one, and then or maybe we'll do like 5. We'll figure something out, don't worry. Just got to make sure the numbers work for everybody. Okay, so I just want to thank you all for coming out again. I know this one was shortly after the other one, but consistency is the key to success when you're investing in real estate and learning about this kind of stuff. So, thank you all for coming again. Give everybody in here a round of applause. So I just want to let you guys know that I plan on having this event every month. The reason this one was only 2 weeks after the previous one is because I'm going to be gone for part of March, and so there's not going to be one in March. So the next one after this will be in mid-April sometime, and I'll send out an email to everybody just to register. All right, so last time, if you were here, I forgot to introduce myself, so who am I and why am I doing this? For those of you that don't know me, my name is John Shwetz, and at 21, I founded a successful car business, importing sports and luxury cars from around the world. And at 24, I quit my job and decided to become a full-time real estate investor. So after almost 4 years now and 35 successful deals later, I'm living my passion, helping people learn how to invest myself, and running my businesses. So that's who I am this time, and why am I doing this? So I'm doing this because I was introduced to this game about 4 years ago, and it really was the catalyst that got me starting to think about investing and start investing, and basically why I'm here today. So it's just to give back, and it's to do it in a way that's a safe learning environment. So that's why I structured it that I sort of have something to talk about for the first little bit that's educational, and then we actually play the game and you can learn how that applies to your own investing portfolio or to yourself in real life. Okay, so that is that. What I want to ask everybody is, does everybody know what time of year it is?
Post-Christmas.
Well, I see somebody's been meeting with their accountants this week. Yes, it's tax time this time of year. Okay, so what is the thing that every accountant says that you should have had done by today? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's have your RRSPs done today. So now what is the typical advice you get from your accountants at banks? Where are you supposed to invest those RRSPs in? Just shout out some answers. Mutual funds, what else? GICs. Yeah, so it's like mutual funds, GICs, stocks, bonds, all kinds of stuff like that, right? And does anybody know what all those things have in common?
They make the bank money.
That is one thing. The main things are that they are paper assets. They're not backed by any kind of hard assets, and exactly, they make the bank a ton of money in fees. So what I'd like to do is just a fun little exercise. On the cash flow game board, you'll see there's just like a little slip of paper, right, not on the board, on the box. So everybody grab one of those. Now this is just totally anonymous, so don't write your name on it or anything. This is going to be used for a little exercise at the break. So just write on it, basically it says how much you have invested in RRSPs, what your return was last year, if you know, and then what you're invested in, so like stocks, mutual funds, GICs, whatever. And just put it in this box here when you're done with it. And it could just be a guesstimate if you're not 100% sure. It's just for an exercise.
This is not just for RRSPs?
Just for RRSPs, yes.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. And Teresa, will just come around and grab the little slips. Would it be better if next time I had music? I feel like there should be like some Jeopardy music playing or like music in the beginning or something.
Do it.
Yeah?
I love it.
Okay, is that everybody's? Yeah, just bring them up here. I'll look at them for the next break. Okay, so thanks for doing that for me, everybody. So does anybody in here buy mutual funds or know somebody that buys mutual funds? Just put your hand up.
Know someone?
Yeah. Okay, so not that many people. Does anybody in here know what an MER is? Yeah, what is it?
Management expense ratio. How much your bank makes off you.
Correct. So do you know how much they charge on average?
In Canada, it's towards 3%.
Yeah, it depends on the fund, but it's anywhere from 2 to 6%, and sometimes at the end when you pull your money out, they have an additional fee. So what are some things that the bankers and the mutual fund salespeople tell you when you actually invest in RRSPs?
Invest for the long term.
Invest for the long term, yeah. Trevor?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. You know, stick it out. The markets are just down right now. If you hold out for 10 more years, you'll make money, stuff like that, right? He knows. So that's exactly what they do, because the management expense ratio, they make money whether you're making a return or not. So they make money based on the amount of funds under management. So if you give them $10,000, even if you don't make any return, they're still going to take their 3% on your money every single year. So I just want to go into a little bit of an example. I mean, I'm sure some of you are familiar with this, but just make it really simple and easy to explain. You'll see where I'm going with this in a second. Okay, so let's just say you invest $10,000 in some kind of mutual fund. What's an average return that they tell you you can make in a mutual fund? 7, 8%. Okay.
6% if you talk to a guy.
Or 6% if you talk to a guy. Okay. So let's just do some simple math here. So what should we go with? Just 7% since it's in the middle, I guess? Okay. So if you make 7% on your $10,000, how much have you made? $700. Right. Okay. So we'll just put gross profit. Okay. So now at the end of year one, you have $10,700 in your account. Now, what would you say is a typical management expense ratio? You said like 3%. Has anybody ever had higher ones?
3.2.
What was yours? 4. Okay, let's say 3.5 maybe, just to make it easy.
I think the average in Canada is around 2.5%.
2.5? Okay, well, so let's use 3 then. He said 3.5, he said 3, you said 2.5. So 3%, it doesn't seem like much, right? Because realtors typically charge 3% commission when they sell a house. Why shouldn't a mutual fund charge 3% on your money? But look at what it's actually costing. 3% of 10.7, let's just say, is $321. So that's $10,379. So what's really like your effective return? It's 3.79%, which is half or almost half. So really, these fees are costing you more than 50% of your profits, whereas in a real estate transaction, it's only like a typical 3% is what you charge realtors. So I just want to make this clear, and you'll see why in just a second. So does anyone here know some other ways that you can actually use to invest your RRSP money?
ETFs.
ETFs, yes. So just for those of you who don't know, ETFs allow you to buy like commodities like gold and silver. Anybody else?
You can do index funds with ETFs too.
Right. Okay, that's not where I'm going with this though. The one way that you can actually escape these sort of fees, this no control, this no being backed by a hard asset, is super simple. So who here would like to maybe take back control of their retirement fund or their money and their RRSPs? Okay, most people, right? So I'll tell you that about 2 years ago, when I learned this one little trick, it's helped myself, my friends, my family, and my investors start making some real returns in their RRSP accounts. And anywhere from 4 to 36%, that's basically safe, reliable, predictable monthly cash flow, and backed by a hard asset. And the best part is also no management fees. So does anybody know what I'm talking about? Kevin is correct. So it's called a self-directed RRSP mortgage. Now, don't let the term mortgage scare you, because I've been able to, you can do this with, I've done it with as little as $3,000, and you can do it all the way up to, pretty much however much money you have in your RRSP account, as long as there's a deal out there, right? So who would like to learn how to get those kind of returns in just 6 easy steps? It'll take 10 minutes. Okay, great. So I'll show you right now. So first step is set up a self-directed RRSP mortgage with what's called a trustee. Now there's quite a few in Canada. I think there's between 3 and 5. The most well-known ones are called Olympia Trust and Canadian Western Trust. Now those are the 2 most well-known ones. I think TD had one at a certain point in time. And you can actually move your money over to this account without bearing any kind of tax consequences. You might have to, if you have mutual funds, you might have to liquidate them and then move the cash over, but you don't have to actually withdraw it. The second step is probably my favorite one. It's decide how much you want to make. Now this is where you get the control back. You actually can decide what type of deals you want to do. You can do, lower risk ones, which would be first mortgages, just like a bank would give you if you went to buy a house. And those are typically anywhere from about 4 to 8%, because they only go up to 80% loan to value, which means if there's a property worth $100,000, you'll end up to $80,000 on it. So there's a 20% equity, left in the property that's your safety net. Okay, and here's a question I'd just like to ask you guys. Why do you think that this is the bank's #1 source of business?
The RRSPs, you mean?
No, doing mortgages.
Fees. It's backed by property.
They're backed by hard assets. They charge the fees. They're ridiculously safe and ridiculously profitable. That's why, if you look downtown here, who owns all the big buildings? CIBC, TD, 9Life, companies like that. Okay, so the third step, it's you need people or deals to actually lend this money on. Now, I know some of you are probably saying, how do I find those deals? But I actually have a surprise for everybody here, and I've got this covered for you. So some of you might be asking, like, where do you find these people? Where do you find these deals? And, what to do with them. So you can lend to professional investors who are, doing this as a living, buying properties. You can lend to regular people who just need maybe a second mortgage for renovations. Maybe they just need some money to start a business. You can lend to pretty much anybody that owns a property. So I don't know how many people here were here last time. So about half of you. So last time, if you missed it, I basically gave away one of my assets. I gave away a 4-ounce bar of silver and also a few really great books. Now this time I'm stepping it up a little bit, and what I'm going to give away is a little bit different. It's going to help you, if you choose to take action, it can help you make a lot of money. And this is something that I'm actually doing. So every year, February 28th, today, I get a list of people who basically need loans. And these are local people, Edmonton, it's actually Edmonton and St. Albert. And it's 540 leads. Now, this cost me about $250 to get, and what I'm going to do is give away 6 of these packages to somebody here. So you guys will have an opportunity to, you can call up these people for, they might be interested in selling their house, they might be interested in getting a loan, whatever it is, go nuts with it. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. So before I talk about how you can actually win those, what I'm going to talk about is the fourth step, which is probably the most important one. The fourth step is do your due diligence on the deal. And what I mean by that is get an appraisal done. So if the property is worth $200,000, get an appraisal that says it's worth $200,000. And the cool thing about these is that the borrower actually pays for everything. They pay for the appraisal fees, they pay for your lawyer to set up the document to protect you to lend the money, they pay for any kind of management fees and anything else. Okay, I have to pause here because I forgot something. And it's not your fault, it's mine. We have a rule in the room, and that is that everyone please turn your cell phone off or to silent. Just because there's people in here that are maybe learning new things, they really want to take their business to the next level. So please turn your phone off or to silent. And in the future, because I forgot to mention it before, in the future, if your phone goes off, even vibrates and distracts somebody, you owe everybody else at your table $5. Does that sound like a deal? We're gonna have a break in an hour, so if you need to take calls, just take them at that point in time. All right? So sorry, that just distracted me a little bit, so I thought I better just protect everybody else. Okay, so let me just recap. On the fourth step, you want to do your due diligence and have everybody else set up these, basically pay for the fees to set everything up. The fifth step, you just send Olympia, Canadian Western Trust, whoever your trustee is, a letter that says, I want to lend X amount of dollars on this deal. Your lawyer gets a copy of it, he does up all the documents, and you don't even have to worry about it. They do everything. And the cool thing about these is you don't even need to leave your house. I mean, I've done so many of them. You just pick up the phone, you say, yeah, what is the deal? Okay, send me the info. They send you the info. If you think it's good, you call up your lawyer, you say, hey, this guy's gonna come in, sign the paperwork. He goes, deals with your lawyer. You just go and pick up your checks. So the last and final step is just that. You just go collect your money. You can set these up on pre-authorized debit. So literally all you have to do is log into your bank account, make sure it's being paid, and that's it. So that is the 6 easy steps to doing a self-directed RRSP mortgage, and how you can start getting consistent returns instead of fluctuations with your RRSPs that are backed by hard assets. So who here likes that idea? Is there anybody in here that's currently doing that? 1, 2, okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you guys a few quick tips. I don't wanna go into this too much because we got some cash flow to do here. But the first tip is your lawyer does everything for you, so don't worry about doing the legal documents. The lawyer does everything and the borrower pays for him to do everything for you. Secondly, if it's an RRSP, it must be what's called an arm's length mortgage. So you couldn't, let's say, lend it to yourself, to your company, to your family member. It has to be somebody outside a blood relation that you're lending to. And the whole process, after you've done it once or twice, might take you an hour or two, and this will, give you money for the whole term of the mortgage. Some of them 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, and you can have renewal fees. I mean, it's really awesome what you can actually do with it. So that is pretty much it for my little bit of tidbit information for today. Is there anybody here who wants to actually hear from a business partner of mine where we actually borrowed some money like this to actually do a deal? Yeah? Okay. So I don't know if you guys know, this is my friend and business partner, Trevor. This will be his first time up speaking. So Trevor, come up. Everybody give him a round of applause.
First time speaking. How's everybody doing today?
Awesome.
Good. Okay. Aww. So do you guys want to hear about the first deal that I did with John?
Yes.
Okay. So the first deal I did with John was about 1.5 years ago, in the summer of 2011, and I personally made $14,000 in 4.5 months. So this is basically how we did the deal. First off, John picked up a property in the Kensington area for about $227,000, and then he came to me. I couldn't qualify for a mortgage myself, but I knew a private lender, kind of like what John's talking about right here, that could lend us $210,000 as a first mortgage at 5.5% interest. I personally brought the other $17,000 we needed to close, and then put up